Hello, hello. This is ThoughtDrought.
Where your thoughts get trained.
Today, we're a little late to the party, but today we're here to talk to you about Joe Biden being half dead on stage. Do you want to go first? You want to share your thoughts
Uh,
with us?
we could start with me. I guess, look, my thought in simple was, why am I going to vote for someone who's not going to win? When I saw him, right? Like, people talk about, oh, third party voters, you're voting for someone who's not going to win. When I saw Biden on that debate stage, I was like, oh, yeah, like, same here. He's not going to win. It, Coming out of the gates after that debate, he was, what, down to 30%?
There's the look
In
he
the
had the
30s?
entire debate.
Yeah.
Uh,
He got wombo comboed in
he
the
did.
fucking debate. He
Yeah.
got destroyed.
You know, the fucked up part is that when you really look at it and like what they say, Trump dodged a lot of those questions, but just
Hmm.
Biden was so like half alive. It's so
Yeah.
hard to it's so hard, man. You know? Like
Yeah.
what do you do with this? Like a man who is half dead. Just like it's not even the raspy voice. The raspy voice really didn't help. It was the fact that he he literally
It's
froze up.
2024,
Fuck.
and you're
He froze up mid
He
debate like
he
several times.
froze. Yeah, he froze up, backtrack. He started talking about points that are not even his own points. He said that he beat Medicare.
You remember Mitch McConnell's blue screen?
Yeah. I would almost argue that Mitch McConnell's blue screen's better because at least you're not like fighting for the other team. When asked about abortion, Joe Biden brought up how an immigrant killed a lady in America. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, hey, no, we don't
Wait,
need 80s Biden. We need 2020
we
Biden.
don't need
All right?
1990s tough on crime
Yeah, we
Biden.
don't need the
Goddamn.
the Biden that Kamala said was racist. Okay, I don't even remember the debate stage. They talk about the segregation. They talk about the busing routes, and Kamala said that, oh, you're against like minorities in buses, and Biden's like, no, it's not me.
Look at him.
Biden has a bad history.
Well, let's see. Does he
For
sound
the
better?
Middle
This is
East
an
that
interview
may
he
become
did a few days ago with the what was it, ABC? Yeah, ABC. So let's see how he
Hmm.
sounds.
fruition. I was also the guy that expanded NATO. I was also the guy that grew the economy. All the individual things that were done were ideas I had or I fulfilled. I moved on. And so, for example, well, that was true then. What's Biden done lately?
What the fuck was that?
I can't hear.
Oh, you can't. Oh, fucking OBS. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. Here, you want to rewind? You want to hear that?
More worrisome.
Yeah,
By many accounts, as evidenced by video footage, observation, and interviews,
Biden.
Mr. Biden is not the same today as he was even when he took office 3.5
yeah.
years ago.
He's not as spry of a young chicken as
It's
he used to
like
be.
back then, people talk about how Biden had so many gaffes and gifts and goofs and bad times where he kept fucking up. But at least when it came to the debate stage, Biden 2020 came up and he was coherent pretty much throughout the entire debate, most of the debate. But during this debate, no, he was lost. He was gone. And some people say that he had a cold. All right, well that doesn't really help your case. He's sick and old, right? Like it's just all right, yeah, like good point. He's closer to death.
Well,
Like,
I
yeah.
mean, look, the raspy voice is one thing, but it doesn't really explain the pauses and the constant like. You'll see. He does it here too. He does it in this interview. You'll see what I mean. Watch this.
Similar reporting in the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal. Are you the same man today that you were when you took office 3.5 years ago?
In terms of successes, yes. I also was the guy who put together a peace plan for the Middle East that may be coming to fruition. I was also the guy that expanded NATO. I was also the guy that grew the economy. All the individual things that were done were ideas I had or I fulfilled. I moved on. And so, for example, well, that was true then. What's Biden done lately? Today,
The fuck was that last part?
just announced
I Biden, me
I
Biden.
Biden do something lately. What the fuck?
I
200,000 new
Biden do
jobs.
something lately. I Biden smart. Yeah, no.
So, for example,
He's holding
But then
on.
it is
well,
fair
that was
though that
true then.
Trump
What's
also had a
Biden?
lot of I don't want to say he had a lot of fuck ups during the debate, but he was a typical politician where he didn't address the points.
Very typical.
Like,
yeah.
they would ask him. The only point I think Biden didn't really address is when they asked him, "Hey, Biden, everyone's sort of concerned about your fucking age," and Biden went off on a tangent. He didn't address it. That's like the one that he didn't address.
Hey,
But with
you know what he
Trump, he
did?
didn't
You know
address
what
like
Biden
any of
did? You know what Biden did to alleviate our concerns about his age? He did the Charleston to demonstrate his
Yeah.
wealth.
Like, he's so youthful and young.
So youthful doing the Charleston down the street. Oh man, I mean,
Maybe he should have
might
talked
be.
about how he fought what was his name? Popcorn? Popeye? What was the thing? Corn pop. Corn pop. Yeah. Corn pop.
Oh, we have that one early in. That's an early channel
Yeah.
reference right there.
Yeah, maybe that'll drum up support.
His
Talk about how he
retelling,
fought people with rusty chains.
his retelling of his great battle with Corn Pop.
And done lately.
Yeah.
You just today just announced 200,000 new jobs. We're moving in a direction that no one's ever taken on. I know you know this from the days in the government. I took on Big Pharma. I beat them. No one said I could beat them. I took on all the things we said we got done. We were told we couldn't get done. And part of it is what I said when I ran was I wanted to do three things: restore some decency to the office, restore some support for the middle class instead of trickle-down economics built from the middle out and the bottom up. The way the wealthy still do fine, everyone does better, and unite the country.
Oh,
What has
Recluse
all
is here.
that work over the last 3.5 years
Hey.
cost you physically,
Hey, Recluse, how you
mentally,
been, buddy?
emotionally?
Yo.
Well, I just think it cost me a really
Can you
bad,
check your phone, by the
night,
way?
bad run. But
Hey,
you know,
can you check your phone, Bacon Man?
George,
I'm checking the street.
I'm optimistic about this country. I don't think we're a country of losers that he points out. I don't think America's in tough shape. I think America's on the cusp of breaking through in so many incredible opportunities.
Oh
In
my
this
God.
next term, I'm going to make sure we have
Incredible.
straighten out the tax system.
He's
I'm going to
gonna
make
do
sure we're in a situation where we have health care for all people, where we're in a position where we have child care and elder care.
Oh, I
free
lost the
up, and
cap.
all these things. One
See,
thing I'm
that's where the
proudest of,
shitty part, right? Like, if you
remember-
really take Biden's points from the debate in here, he has more poignant points. He has more, like, articulated plans versus Trump, who just said, "Oh, we
Destroy
want
it
clean
all.
air, clean water."
Best air, best water, best plan. I got it. And that's true. However, Biden, just by the very fact that he's so old and feeble, how do we know that's even his plan? How do we even know he's going to be able to stick to it when he's in office? Look at this man. Like literally, just look at his.
But
Look
if I'm
at
gonna
his
be
face.
honest,
He looks
look,
like a worn
you vote
shovel.
Biden in, and then he dies, and it goes to Kamal. I don't know.
Look, people are talking a lot. I might be jumping the gun a little because we have some videos. You want to look at them real quick? The people are talking about whether or not they should replace Biden. Is Biden our number one shot? In fact, we got something from the Joey Rogaine and Jimmy Dore, the greatest thinkers of our time, and
Yes.
and should they move Joe Biden? Well, here's the problem: who has ever won a national campaign in 3 months? 3 months, right? We got 3 months before the general kicks off.
Well, yeah, we have the rest of July. No, we have a couple months. We have, I think, 3.
Hold on, let me. Yeah, 3.
July, August, September, October.
Oh, 4. We got 4
We have
months.
4. We have 4. We have
Wow,
4
4 months. 4 months to build a
All right.
national campaign. All right. Well, let's just also get Jesus to have him walk the earth again.
But that's sort of the shitty thing, right? If we just had fucking primary debates with RFK and Marianne Williamson, we would have known how bad Joe Biden's brain was, even at the debate stage.
Oh, 100%. When everybody says they fucking knew, they knew. Like, they knew this over a year ago, and that's why they didn't do the debate, because Joe Biden is... I mean, look
Yeah.
at him. The guy looks like a leather suitcase.
Yeah, Republicans and some moderates will probably be like, hey, they've been talking about this for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like, Republicans and moderates will be like, oh, look, like, we've seen the videos, we've seen the gaffes, so much so that there's a whole, like, marketplace to do this. We've seen articles from, like, AP that talk about how people will fake videos to make Biden look worse than he actually is. But truthfully, he is bad. You know, at the end of the day, you could fake videos of him like missing, looking for a chair when there isn't a chair, but really there is a chair. That was a video or an article we got from AP
The
on
chair
another
he's
stream.
gonna kick out from
Yeah.
under himself.
But at the end of the day, it is true that he's not really fit for the presidency.
It's look, it's the same problem that's been. It's like he may not be. I don't know. It's like he's obviously not fit. However, at this point, what are you going to tell the people who have those interests in mind, right? It's like people who have democratic interests.
Yeah.
Like, how can you have democratic interests? It's like, well, you know, I don't want to make this too personal, and you already know this because we talked about this shit for years, but I was a Section 8 kid. We grew up on federal housing, basically, and it didn't really matter Democrat to Democrat who was in there for us. For us, our as long as the guy with the D was in there, it wasn't dick. As long as the guy was in there, it doesn't really matter. Republican was the only time we ever really felt threatened growing up, and even now. You know, I mean, even going to college as a college student, Joe Biden added more to the Pell Grant, helped some people with student loans. If you had student loan debt for like half your life, then yeah, we will help you. But like, so
Yeah.
he's helped people with our interests more, people with the Democratic interests more. And I guess that's a problem that a lot of people on the Trump side don't see. It's like, how could you vote for someone who obviously isn't fit? And it's like, because the other guy outright said, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. If you really wanted to go bipartisan, if you really wanted to go the whole route of, hey, Joe Biden is not fit, okay, then push your fucking guy to welcome in the other side. Because at that point, like, it's kind of an easy sweep for Trump. All Trump...
Yeah.
It kind of is. Like, I'll be real with you for a moment. I really shouldn't say this, other team and all. But if Trump just lined up his rhetoric on some of the groups he hates so much, he might honestly sweep. It's so easy.
Wow.
He just has to lighten up on certain groups. Hell, he might not even have to. He might just be able to squeak by. But if he does that, he might just...
I think because they did this to Trump when it was the Hillary campaign, right?
Yeah.
Where they said, Hillary said that, do you really want Trump with the button? Someone crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Trump could fire back at in the same way Hillary did to him, to Biden, and be like, hey, do you want a dude who can't think straight, who loses train of thought, to have the power of the nuclear button? Like, if tomorrow Russia decided to throw nukes, there's a chance that Biden might have a brain gaffe, a little goober moment, and like be like, wait, hold up, wait, what happened? And he'll need it told a second or third or fourth time, and he doesn't react fast enough.
You think it'll be like a Call of Duty game where, you know, whoever presses the nuke button first?
Yeah, it'll be a quick time event, and he'll miss it, and it'll be game over.
Fuck.
But
America
I would like
lost.
to believe if that happened, then like some of the generals would come and be like, all right, we got to do this, even though the president says not to. But like, I don't know. I mean,
we're all cooked. If
but
that's what
that wouldn't
happened,
make sense in terms of the Constitution and the power being the commander in chief, which the president is. He would have to have the say, right? He would need to be incorporated into that fucking chain, right? Like, and
should the Democrats replace Biden at this point? I'm in the camp of, if you want to know my answer, just so you don't feel like you're being put out there, I think it doesn't matter what they do from here. It's a guaranteed loss. Just because, well, they should still fight, do something. Don't just lay there and die. But heart of hearts, you have a guy who can't, like, get through 2 sentences without having a stroke. And your other only option was hopefully pick a guy in, like, 4 months. You're going to have to go find a guy, pick the guy, and then go run him. All within 4 months to a national campaign.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck. So it's a losing fight no matter which way you go. The best they can do is if Biden, I was hearing from some people, I'll take this one from Kyle Kalinske, if Biden was trying to go all natural, fuck that. Drugs. We're progressives. We're okay with it. Drugs, Adderall, anything. Go. Just do it. It's fine. You're 72. How many years will it take off your life? You've already lived past the average. Like,
But then he dies on the debate stage in the second debate.
His heart blows out his chest.
But you know what?
Oh,
Maybe it'll
God.
have like a JFK effect. And whoever surpasses him, maybe it'll be Kamala, right? Because she's the VP. It's like, all right, she'll get all the good graces from his death.
They will, but like, who was the guy who followed up?
Oh yeah, LBJ. If you don't know, LBJ came in after JFK. I want to say
LBJ did a
RFK,
lot of
but
historical
yeah,
things. He did.
yeah, he
But,
was
like-
he was bad in his own rights, but
Oh, yeah.
overall he tried to follow through on
Great
the
Society?
JFK
Was that him?
legacy. Yeah, the Great Society.
Yeah. I mean, he
He
tried.
also, yeah.
But the problem with him also is that his legacy is vastly overshadowed by the Kennedy presidency.
Yeah, but then because JFK died, a brutal death, right, shot in the head,
Twice.
it really helped to be like, all right, in spirit of JFK, we'll vote for LBJ. Now, maybe. But I don't know. I don't think they'll
Well,
carry
you
the
know-
same weight if Joe Biden dies from an Adderall overdose.
Yeah,
right?
but-
Like, I don't know if that'll be the same thing, but...
Yeah, but say Kennedy dying in self-sacrifice versus like Biden's fucking pharmacist getting the doses wrong. Like,
Yeah, especially they found out why he died. Right? They didn't just say heart attack or like no, he had like 3 Adderall pills.
Kennedy
Right,
was
he had
on
the
a
short
shitload of
release.
drugs. Kennedy was on a shitload of drugs back
That's
in the
true.
day.
Although you could say it's also because he had really bad I think he had like back pain.
Yeah,
right? Like
but
he had like
a lot
some
of the
issue.
drugs he was using weren't even legal for that.
Yeah, I think it was also he smoked weed, no?
Yeah, he smoked weed. Dude, like a true
Yeah.
gangster smoking weed on the White House lawn.
If I remember right, his family also had like some line with moonshine.
That's
Something like that. He had
fucking
background
weird.
moonshining.
Oh, I think I heard that too.
All right, you know. I don't know if Recluse has a favorite politician he'd like to throw in there, but I mean, they could throw in Newsom, but then there's another point we made that like we all know what's bad about Biden, right? We know about the Hunter Biden story. Hunter Biden literally got fucking convicted of a felony,
Cock
right?
and balls and cocaine.
And the thing is, we're
damn.
willing to just suck it up and like it's no longer fresh. It's now old news.
Mhm.
But if like they throw in someone like Gavin Newsom, they're gonna dig up all of his dirt, and it's all going to be fresh piles of shit for everyone to smell into for
all
the next
within
3
that
months, 4
nice
months.
2-month window
Yeah,
for his campaign. Because let's be real, they're gonna take a month trying to pick a guy. So it's really gonna be 3 months of them trying their fucking damnedest to get.
yeah. Right now they're probably
Gavin.
doing the research, like looking at polls. There was the CNN and DNC poll, right, where they're showing like, all right, Biden is fucking cooked if we don't do anything drastic for the next couple months.
Adderall. No all natural, like Kyle said. No.
Look, how else did he beat Corn Pop if not for performance-enhancing drugs? If I'm to believe that Joe Biden beat Corn Pop, who had a rusty chain,
I
maybe
think
he had a
Jon
rusty chain.
Stewart. I think Jon Stewart said it really well. It was like, God, I'm such a liberal for this, but, dude, this isn't athletics. Like, what are we gonna do? Biden's gonna solve the Middle East, and then what? We're gonna put an asterisk next to his name. Like,
Yeah.
he was doping. Like, no, like it's fine. We don't care. Like, get doped. We already, dude. I grew up, and the joke growing up as a teenager was that every president was doped out of their mind. How could you not be? Everybody who's in like high stress jobs, CEOs, basketball players, businessmen, politicians, these military guys, like a lot of these guys are probably on some like crazy fucking drugs all the time.
Yeah, and you know what? It's okay.
It's okay. Cause
You're
we ain't
working
keeping
literally. You're not working a typical 9 to 5. You're probably working from 7 a.m. to fucking 10 p.m. if not even longer.
score. Probably
And your
all day,
sleep
every
is
day.
probably on a fucking jet, right? Like you're sleeping on a jet ride to fucking Tokyo, New York.
Which would
like, you know-
normally be pretty good if it wasn't for the fact that every single thing
Yeah.
you do affects tens of millions of people.
And
around
sorry,
the world.
Recluse, I don't know what you mean by Eugene versus Debs. Is that
Oh.
a Supreme Court case?
Yeah, it's the Eugene versus Deb case. Yeah, yeah. Hold on, I don't know what you're talking about. That's like it's like a socialism thing. I think it was about how I think Eugene Debs wanted to. Yeah, he
I thought he was gonna
out.
bring up.
he passed out pamphlets, and I think he also got like pushed people to not sign in for the draft, and then he got arrested.
Well,
World War One.
rip the legend.
I mean, he was right. I mean,
Yeah.
but again, it's like
Smedley Butler would probably end up agreeing with him.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's around the same time.
oh yeah, Banana War. Yeah.
Yeah. If only Smedley Butler knew before he joined in the wars. But
Only if
it'd
Smedley
be like that.
Butler knew that one of his fucking ground captains would be alive running the country
Yeah.
150
I don't know if
years
Recluse,
later.
you know about that, but around the time, like, yeah, there's Smedley Butler, one of the top generals of the U.S. Army, and eventually, after fighting in all these wars, including the Banana Wars, he was like, "Oh yeah, all this shit was for company interest."
The book's called
Holy crap, my whole life's been a lie.
the
Yeah.
book's called War
Uh,
is a Racket.
Yeah, Wars of Iraq. It's a good
Yeah,
book.
really good book.
Yeah.
When my economic plan was put forward, a lot of the mainstream economists said it's not going to work. Well, guess what? You now have 16 Nobel laureates, 16 of them in economics, saying that Biden's next term would be, based on what he wants to do, enormous success. Trump's plan would cause a recession, would significantly increase inflation.
It's just a weird
made
argument
great
to hear
progress,
someone
and
say
that's
like
my
these
plan.
experts say that I'm right and Trump is dumb.
You know what's fucked is that I feel like the normal person probably does not give a fuck about Nobel laureates.
Yeah.
Like maybe
I don't know.
the like
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't know.
maybe
either.
the
I don't care.
suburban college liberal cares, but they're gonna vote for you anyways. Like
I'm a
I mean,
college.
you're preaching to the choir, buddy, when you bring up that argument. Like that's
I'm not even a college liberal. I'm just a college person, and I didn't know what the fuck's a Nobel, whatever the fuck that was. Who are they? Tell us. Tell us. Why are they important? Why should we give a fuck?
mm.
Can you tell us who are the Nobel something whatevers?
A lot of the mainstream economists said it's not going to work. Well, guess what? You now have 16 Nobel laureates.
What's Nobel laureates?
You don't know what the Nobel laureate is?
No, I'm ashamed to tell you. Nope.
Oh.
Oh, I'm looking it up now. A person or organization. Some. Oh, a Nobel Prize winner.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Proper terminology.
Ancient terminology. Matches fucking age a little, huh?
Yeah.
16 of them in economics, saying that Biden's next term would be, based on what he wants to do, enormous.
This is terrible. Let's move on.
But at the end of the day, you look at this.
It's awful. No, I got something
You're gonna
else.
vote for him though, right? You're gonna vote for? You're gonna vote for Joe Biden?
Yes, because I recognize I recognize Trump is completely against my interests, and when people say democracy, you should vote for the best guy. No, I'm gonna vote for the guy that represents me, even if it's a crazy, half crazed old man. Fucking shit, but like that's American democracy for you. You guys act like we're surprised. You act like this is new. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a new depth, but it ain't new depth. It ain't new. We've been digging through this shit for a while. Also,
I hate that my answer is the same.
yeah.
I hate that I'm also like, well, at the end of the day, like, who am I going to vote for?
Are you
Biden
Are you really
or
surprised?
Trump?
Oh no, you're gonna vote for JFK.
You mean RFK?
Oh, oops.
Don't
Sorry,
spoil
I let the ghost.
JFK's legacy.
I let the ghost slip out again.
Yeah.
Would you
I
vote
would
for?
say the one point that Trump has over Biden for me, because you can be like, oh, Biden, his brain is gone, his faculties are in someone else's hands. But it is true that if there was like a bomb threat, Trump would probably deal with it better, more fast, because his brain is there. And that's probably something that Biden would have to deal with himself. At least I
I'll
would
go on
like
a
to
limb.
believe that as the head of the army.
We
the head of the
disagree. We
military.
might disagree on this one, actually. I don't think there would be a difference in how he'd handle stuff like that. But, in how it's internally managed. However, in terms of the face, oh yeah, I think Trump would put on a better face for that type of stuff, yeah.
Mm.
In just not looking panicked, which I think it is huge. Like, that is a big part of it.
Yeah.
So, but here, let's get the greatest. Look, I talked about it before. We
I
need
know
to
that's
hear the greatest political thinkers of our time.
why this
Oh, here we go.
rehabilitation, it's all because of Trump derangement syndrome.
You wait for it, Recluse. We're about to show you the greatest philosophers of
All
our
right,
time.
so just to poison the well a little bit, this is the man who said to not vote for Hillary, right?
To vote for Trump
When it was
or something like that back then, or did
he didn't.
not?
I don't think he said to vote for Trump, but he didn't want to vote for Hillary.
Well, not wanting to vote for Hillary when Bernie's an option, completely understandable.
But that would lead to there being Supreme Court justices put in by Trump,
You talking
and
about
which
during
would
the?
give us.
You talking about during the primary?
Well, yeah, no, I mean during the general, he said not to vote for Hillary.
Oh no! I thought you meant like vote for Bernie or like not vote for Hillary during the primary for some.
No, I
I'm
thought
tripping.
no. I'm pretty
I'm
sure he
tripping.
said to not vote for Hillary during the general.
Just complete non-participation.
I thought he was a Bernie or Buster.
Oh no!
But you know what? Maybe
I kind of went through that when I was a young man, but I don't know. For me, it was like being a Bernie or Buster is kind of
you know.
it's kind of shitty because like ignores the whole point. I mean,
Yeah.
harm reduction being one, but it doesn't matter. Also, by the way, I got 6 minutes, so be ready to put a link.
Yeah.
I still want to talk about this when we get back, just because, you know.
Syndrome, though they have to pretend like Joe Biden's some kind of guy with integrity and
Yeah.
dignity instead of, the horrible criminal anti-worker guy that he's been his whole life. He's been anti-student, anti-worker, and
All
Some of
that.
Biden.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all that in a bag
Look,
of chips.
I
No, all
understand
that in a bag
that.
of chips? I don't disagree.
I understand that he's anti-union, but in the same way Trump is anti-union. When talking about
Let
the
him cook.
the
let
auto
him cook.
workers, Trump really talked like a scab factory instead of the actual union.
Well, let him cook. Let's see where he's going with this. So far, I don't technically disagree with this. It's not wrong. I mean,
But in a vacuum, and if we're just talking about purely Biden, like Biden within himself, without considering the
if
election,
Biden's
then
the
sure.
base, then Biden's great. But if like you're comparing Biden to like everyone else,
Yeah.
like he fits the standard mold of like shitty politician. I mean, he
Yeah.
was a shitty standard politician basically till 2020, and then his brain rotted out of his head. So,
Yeah.
he crushed a goddamn.
well, let's see where he's going though. He might look. Trust me, I watched this. It will get dumb. This isn't the dumb part.
Railroad strike, and everybody just memory holds that happened. Like if Trump did that, it would be on billboards forever, and
Would it be though? If
No.
Trump did that, it would be on billboards.
Considering
forever. No.
considering the Democrats' record at just living to forget, no, I feel like this would have came and gone. There's a lot of things Trump has done, right? Like he let Saudi Arabia use his hotel to trick veterans to voting for a pro-Saudi Arabia bill when they said it was gonna be pro-veteran. Right? But there's a lot of things Trump has done that's horrific that we just gloss over and we don't
You know what
talk
I think
about.
would have happened?
There's a
You know what I think would
there's a shit
happen?
ton of
Because it
things.
happened before. Well, no, people are forgetting. Jimmy's forgetting too. You know what they say? They say that's the reason we should vote for Biden. They will just use that as more ammunition to vote for Biden. Why we don't need a fucking primary debate. It's like we can't even question Biden right now because of how bad Trump is. Like, did you just see what he did to the railway workers? Like, that's how it would have been framed. I completely disagree with this because, like, just look at what happened in the past. Like, not even that long ago, a few years ago. Just look what happened. They used it all. Every single decision Trump has made has been used as ammunition to vote for Biden no matter what. Has
Yeah.
it not? Everything. From his Supreme Court decision to his economic decisions, everything. So the way he treated the immigrants, the way he treated the border, the way he bombed Iran randomly in the middle of for no fucking reason. It's just pulling out of Syria, even though Syria was like a paper thin commitment. It's just like weird things, all reasons to not support Trump and support Biden. It's
Yeah.
just I don't know, Jimmy.
And to address Recluse, he talked about the colonialism over Hawaii of Sanford Dole, relative of James Dole, the founder of Dole Fruits. They're all horrific. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, earlier we talked about what was it, like 2-3 streams ago, we talked about Chiquita Banana, how they were found guilty of funding paramilitaries. Chiquita, the same company who was doing the banana republics in South America.
mhm.
All right, like these companies never stopped.
Well, you know,
All
if
right,
we're
their
being
colonialism,
real honest
they
for
just
a
did it under the
moment,
guise of a company. under the guise of an LLC.
If we're being honest for a moment, I believe the United States owns Puerto Rico and I think the Marianas and the Solomon Islands. I could be wrong about that last one, but Guam, the island that a lot of my family comes from, is one of those islands, and we don't get to vote. We get to vote in our own elections, but we don't get to vote on the national elections. We are literally a territory with no representation. Puerto Rico has the population to be a state. Never mind if you combine the islands together. So a whole state's worth of people just don't get representation. Guam gets a representative, but he doesn't get to vote. He just gets to be there. He just gets to look pretty. So the U.S. still practices imperialism. We still do it. We still have an empire. We were going to talk about it in the next show, but France still controls New Caledonia, which is a fucking territory way in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's still empires around. I mean, I don't know if you ever want to go into that rabbit hole, but...
And Radicals, I don't know if you ever heard, but also, was it early 2000s? Coca-Cola was also tried for a similar thing that Shaquille Banana was tried for.
You mean this Coca-Cola?
Yeah, that Coca-Cola, the amazing American Coca-Cola. Yeah. Although they weren't found guilty because it was like a company under a company, so they weren't directly liable. And also, I would argue that for a country like
Pepsi's
Colombia,
better. Pepsi likes
it would be
black people more.
hard to find evidence against them, especially when they're a big contributor of revenue for the fucking country, right? You're trying to tell the country to fight against their own interests.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever want to do the rabbit hole, but like in terms of empires existing around the world, there's still a good number of them that exist. Like in terms of territory held and maintained beyond its border, there's still like the French and the Americans. French and Americans in particular are really bad about that.
Yeah, and to tie it back in to the Democrat versus Republican, at the end of the day, the farthest left Democrats, I would say, are the most likely to actually do something about that, right? Like, if you just kept voting left, blue, 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 there'll be, like a Bernie Sanders or an AOC who's probably more likely to look at that and go for their side, I would think, versus someone who's libertarian, right, like Ron Paul or Rand Paul,
especially
if
there's
probably
like an
say
economic
that, this
interest.
is great, right? They would probably say, well, this is in their economic interest to become slaves to Coca-Cola.
Well, it's not even that. Well, that's not even it. It's more of I would even argue it's actually more sympathetic, but still terrible. Like, hey, they provide material for our industry. Our industries would die without these cheap raw resources. He got kicked off. Oh, Zoom's on to us. Zoom said, come back and save 25 off your next 2 months of cloud recording storage. And reactivate Workplace Pro. We will later, Zoom. We will when we do interviews. For now, we're going to continue cheaping out. New. Yes. We're back. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, good. I'm going to share, just do the setup again.
We probably should get on with the Jimmy Dore being...
Oh, this one's good, trust me. This one's good.
Having the IQ of a fucking doorknob. Yeah.
This one's good. There's a reason.
What, Joe, why do you think that because my whole life the establishment loved Donald Trump, right?
Well, because the only option is if you don't go with Biden, then you're not with the Democrats. And the Democrats view themselves as a team. They view themselves as a team as much as patriots think of America first. It's like that team is Democrats first. And that's the only representation they have right now. Like, apparently, now I don't know if this is true, but someone was were you telling me about this, Jamie? About the live...
I understand the comparison of tribalism between patriots and all that, but at the end of the day, the difference between choosing your football team and choosing the party which controls the fucking government is that your Patriots team isn't going to decide whether or not you're going to get government support for formula for your baby, right?
Your housing, your school.
There was legislation passed. All the Republicans were like, hey, Republican team, they're saying, hey, why give money to Ukraine? Well, we give money to formula. There's a formula shortage. Let's give it to the kids. Democrats are like, yeah, all right. Congress puts in the legislation to say, hey, we want to give government funding for formula. And then the Republicans are like, oh, wait, You guys actually want to help people? Nah, no, let's vote against that. So when you're talking about voting for a team, it's not just as simple as red versus blue. There's weight to be carried for both sides, right? They're fighting for different things overall.
Here it is. If you guys don't gotta believe us, House GOP leaders were among the 192 Republicans who voted against providing $28 million to aid the Food and Drug Administration to address the shortage of baby formula, within days of criticizing President Biden for not doing enough on the issue.
Yeah.
Went to
So nearly
Washington.
200 Republican politicians just said, "Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter that the companies making this formula had issues in which they couldn't sell enough baby formula. No, let's just say screw you to all of these starving babies, literally starving babies."
Fucking
Right? Like
evil, man.
how much closer to evil can you get than saying no to starving babies?
Kill the
Yet somehow
babies.
they're the Christian party.
Destroy the
Well, you
babies. Babies don't deserve food. Babies gotta go work and get a job.
Yeah, Recluse, I agree that both parties are terrible with rich interests in mind. Like overall, I do think that. But I feel like at the edges, when you get to like Bernie Sanders, AOC types, that's where you get like a better Democrat or like a better politician. I should probably just say a better politician.
I'll be honest.
Because in the
I
day,
think-
they differ so much from a regular Democrat.
I also think the duopoly hurts us a lot too. I mean, we talked about it before, but I think the fact that libertarians and progressives agree on a lot of things like drug policy and a lot of foreign policy, and they can't work together because of the duopoly. Their party lines forbid them. So if we had viable third parties and fourth parties, maybe they'd be able to form more functional governments, maybe
Yeah.
even just on some issues. So I
And
think
to
that's
be
part of it.
fair, at the end of the day, the money interests mainly care about economic issues, and that's where Dems and Republicans start to really merge.
Oh yeah, business, corporate issues. No, they damn near are the
Yeah.
same party.
At that point, they're just purple, right? At that point, they're the same.
Don't insult grape juice like
Very, very close to this. Maybe different shades of purple, but still purple.
that. Yeah, even arguably on war, not on Ukraine, not when it comes to helping allies
Oh, yeah.
or stopping a genocide in Palestine. No, when we're bombing the fuck out of camels and tents, that's when we really like war. That for some reason.
Yeah, because like neither Trump nor Obama stopped the war in the Middle East. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they took their time. They did it. They got around to it. Trump, cut the troop numbers from 1 million troops down to 500,000 troops, and then Trump promised to leave 5 years after he left office, and then
Yeah, see, when people talk about like, oh,
great.
Trump was trying to make the plans to leave, I want to believe him, but then Obama also said he was going to close Gitmo. So I'm like, yeah, politicians make a lot of promises.
I think
And when they
what
don't
happened
do
there,
it, I can't really believe them.
I think he was trying to fulfill campaign promises. It was a very sloppy pullout. Whether or not it would have been under Biden or Trump, I genuinely think it was probably going to be sloppy. I mean, like, the U.S. just wasn't prepared to take that many people back.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened in Vietnam too, supposedly. Just so many people helped us, and there was not a shot in hell we were going to be able to get all those people back. So
I mean, I think we could have probably taken more time to do it, but I'm like,
the
okay,
amount of people who helped us, though, and cooperated with us,
yeah.
who built like governments, teaching, police
leave a
officers.
bad precedent that if you help America, you could end up just getting fucked over when they leave, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
But then again, I'm like, talk about greater evils versus greater goods. At the end of the day, I think us leaving was good. Because at the end of the day,
yeah.
we don't know for sure if Trump would have left. People sort of take it as granted, especially on like middle to right side. They'll be like, "Oh, well, Trump was making the plans to leave." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I mean,
That
politicians
could have just
lie
been
all
a
the
time
fucking
bomb
time."
for Biden. You could also
Yeah, it could
argue
have
that
been.
as well.
It could have been a time bomb for Biden, but a lot of politicians will say that they're going to do something, but they never do it. I mean, Trump didn't do it. Maybe he could have done it in his last 4 years, maybe, or maybe he just would have let it go. I mean, Trump literally put an executive order that said, "All right, to clear the swamp, we'll make it so
I
that
am the
lobbyists,
swamp."
people working in government, can't go to work with a company within like a couple years after leaving." But then on his way out, he overturned his own executive order and said, "Yeah, if you worked in government, you can go work with a company." I can't just take Trump on his word. So,
No, I don't disagree with you. I think it's just that I'm going off of what happened.
Well, yeah.
He
Yeah. and overall, I think
did
it
what
was
he did.
it was a good thing. Overall, like in terms of the world index of
Mhm.
good, I think it comes out on top as
We
good.
should still probably send them some money, especially Iraq, because Iraq's actually on a path to like unfucking itself,
Yeah.
even if it has some problems. We owe them that, but beyond that, it's the Middle East is over. I mean, well, now it's not, because now Israel and Syria and Yemen. I mean, the Middle East is still a hotbed, but hopefully the U.S. won't be as deep this time over the next few years.
You, or was it someone else? Of Rob Reiner and all these people.
Oh, they were
earlier too. Like, I'll find the story when I read
That
it
they were all
online.
live streaming the debate and freaking out.
Barbara Streisand's crying.
Ah! These people are deranged. These
Tribal. Hey guys, we're so not tribal. Hey, look at the other tribe. They're so fucking silly.
Yeah.
people are no different than the Manson family in that they are in a cult.
Yeah.
They're locked into this ideology. It's not as bad as the Manson family, but it's
I was about to
clearly
say, goddamn.
a cult. It's an ideological cult where you're not willing to go against any of the doctrines of the cult. And one of the
And you're not
doc-
allowed to. You're not
Right.
allowed to.
Well, it's that these people don't want to fuck themselves, and that you guys want to fuck them really badly, and they don't want to be fucked. Of course they're not going to go against their ideology of not fucking themselves. It's stupid. That's so simplistic of a viewpoint. Like, oh, they're not allowed to go against the grain. They're not allowed to go against it. Like, making it sound like it's a religion. No, they're not going to fuck themselves, actively screw themselves over because the opponent doesn't like their leader. That's so stupid. Why would anyone ever do that ever? Why would I go, you know what? My leader kind of sucks right now. The other side says my leader sucks. I'm going to fuck myself.
Yeah.
What? That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. I'm not going to go fuck myself politely. Thank you, Joe Rogan. Like,
You have to practice groupthink, and that's
yeah.
that.
And Bill Maher's a heretic, even though he's very much a liberal. He's a
no, Bill Maher has money. And Bill Maher, to rich people, including progressive ones, it doesn't matter who runs the fucking country. If you're rich, it doesn't matter. It will never matter to you. You will continue living like a king.
Much
So-
like rich Republicans, they have the money to go across the state and get an abortion. Yeah.
Well,
You
even
know, the other day, the
progressives.
laws don't apply.
Let's be real.
Yeah,
though.
I mean, yeah, even progressives.
Progressives want to go, like, a lot of progressives like to go
Yeah.
shoot their guns. You know what they go do? They go to Arizona
Mm.
and go fucking nuts. They want to get
Yeah.
their big cars. They go to other states, buy them, and bring
Yep.
them here. It happens all the time. Both sides do this shit. It's being
Then
rich.
you want to go swimming with the dolphins in Cancun? That probably wouldn't be allowed in California. They probably have animal rights laws against that. But, you know,
You're rich.
you
so
can do that in Mexico. But, yeah.
money buys. Yeah, money buys. The people who
Freedom.
have money. The people who have money live in a different world.
Money is
heretic.
freedom.
They say that, but I wonder. You know, the excess, some people go fucking crazy, man. Doesn't seem like
Mhm.
it. Do you know rich men get cheated on the most? Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
No loyalty in that world because
Well, yeah, because
You can have
that's
one,
freedom,
they can
baby.
have
No
one.
chains here. No chains of loyalty when you're basically here for the money, right?
no loyalty, just dust in the wind, man.
That's the one. When you're poor, your riz comes from like your personality and who you are. But when you're rich
Loyalty
and you don't
and
have
fidelity,
personality,
But when
yeah,
you're
it just comes from your money. Like if the source of your fucking social affection comes from your money, no, that's numbnuts. That's bullshit. I mean, a lot of people have money.
Mhm.
All right, you're gonna find someone who's rich. Like Andrew Tate talks about having money and wealth and power. I'm like, there's people richer than Andrew Tate. They're going to find them and go to them, or let's go over to some other rich person.
And then
Like,
use
I'm not
Andrew Tate
surprised
as a
that rich
fuckhole.
people get cheated on. Yeah,
Well, it's not even just that. It's like it's just the lifestyle. I'm not saying it's bad to have
Yeah.
money. I'm not gonna be one of those people who be like, having $1 million is worse than having $1,000. I'm not that fucking delusional, but I'm just saying, like, at a certain point, man. At a certain point, you stop being happy. And remember that was a statistic. That's like you literally stop being happy past a certain number. However,
yeah, but then again,
I
that's
think that
a number.
number's changed. Well, I think that number's changed too. Like they said,
Mhm.
it's 75 in this economy. I feel like it's more like 100K.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say like, okay, but then again, it's still a number. Well, let's say
Yeah.
if it was 90K, most Americans make less than what 35, 40K.
Yeah, yeah. I
And then
hate that
even
stat
then it's
to this day.
and even then it's 90K to be the baseline. But is that 90K as an aggregate of across the U.S.?
I have no
So
idea.
like maybe in Alabama it wouldn't be necessarily the same in California because their COLA, the cost of living, is like different.
Of course.
So like maybe in Alabama it would be closer to 50K, but in California it's actually really like 120.
I would argue, though, wouldn't you say it kind of leans more towards the top, because to have 100,000 means you can move anywhere in the country. There's not a single place in this country. Well, I mean, a few places, but
Well, true, but then
You
they're
can move
also
to more
taking the
places.
happiness of people in like Alabama, Wisconsin, Wyoming, Oregon, like places where
that's true.
yeah, I think I would say more places are lower than they are over.
No, I
Right,
get what
like
you
you take the
mean,
peaks.
but a lot of people want to leave those kinds of places too. No one really wants to stay there. The
That's
places
true,
you're
but I
describing.
don't think that really matters. We're just counting about just counting the happiness of people.
I don't
like,
know.
at the end of the day, you're
Everybody in your
taking-
state wants to escape. Like it's fucking
May-
Berlin.
Maybe.
Everyone's happy in East Berlin, circa 1986.
We'd have to like
Mr.
look in the
Commissar
happiness
Officer.
study. Be like, hey, so where was all the happiness sent? Like, if happiness was centered around
It was sent-
California,
I thought you were gonna say where was all the happiness sent. I was gonna say West Berlin.
yeah. But then if you're like super rich in Alabama, I'm pretty sure you're probably happy.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Let's continue. We're getting off this. We're getting off Monkey Man here.
Because he says
Because every once in a while he'll tell the truth.
a lot of times
Yeah.
he's not as
Like, he
informed
was-
as I'd like him
He's
to be
evil.
about some of the stuff, like MK Ultra, the
Or
WEF.
Ukraine.
Well, I don't know what he knows about Ukraine, but he hates Donald Trump. But I
Hey,
think I couldn't figure it out
Joey
on the
might be
pocket. Like, he
based.
wouldn't even like have a rational discussion as to why he hates him.
That's-
He's crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing I found out that he was sued by Donald Trump.
Yes. So that
That's
was
probably it.
because when he
Sued.
said that he used an
Well, they're talking about
orangutan,
RFK right now, no?
and
let's see.
so he sued him.
A
Hollywood's
Hollywood's debate watch party with Rob Jane Fonda ended in shouts and tears.
Well, they're talking about Joe Biden.
That should have been fuck keeping up with the.
said that he used an orangutan, and so he sued him.
Hollywood's debate watch party with Rob Jane Fonda ended in shouts and
What?
found out that he was sued by Donald Trump.
Yes. So that
It's Donald Trump, but I think I couldn't figure it out on the pocket. Like, he wouldn't even like have a rational discussion as to why he hates him.
Like,
He's crazy.
yeah.
But
Oh, I
the
think you're talking
thing
about
is,
Rob
I
Reiner.
found out that he was sued by Donald Trump.
Yes. So that
That's
was
probably it.
because when he said that he used an orangutan, and so he sued him.
Hollywood's debate watch party with Rob Jane Fonda ended in shouts and tears. That should have been fuck keeping up with the Kardashians.
Yeah,
that should
that.
be the fucking the real
And that's what you get.
reality
And I
show.
say good for you. That's what you get for fucking lying. They've all lied. You know, I think the media took just as big a hit as Joe Biden did that night.
Yes.
Because now, I mean, just a few weeks ago, there's that Joe Scarborough. That
Oh no, 100%. You know what? Fuck it. I'll give Jimmy Dore one thing. because Jimmy Dore wasn't out here defending it. No, the fact that the media didn't take Biden to task harder on this over the year and a half they didn't get election coverage is crazy. You know what? I'll even go on this limb and say it's crazy, not even from the perspective of democracy and upholding it and transparency. Whatever, that's bullshit, right? Who cares?
Wait,
No.
what do you mean about election coverage?
Yeah, I was about to tell you. They missed out on a whole year worth of debates. In terms of money, and time, like that's a huge blow.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised that the news outlets actually took that hit so softly.
Well, yeah. But then again, I mean, at the end of the day, CNN, MSNBC, they're going to side with the DNC and whatever they want, right?
Well,
They're going to have
they
that
work
fence.
with the government, and they're
Yeah.
in the government right now, so
Yeah.
that's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
but
want-
at the end of the day, like, Fox is going to side with the RNC,
This is
even
something
when they're
that-
not in the government.
This is, I don't know, because on a level both sides were doing this, so both sides are, I would say, at fault. Because they didn't question it when Trump did it. They didn't question it when Biden, I mean, a few did. A few sides did, but really it was
When
crossfiring, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but like, wait. So can you say that one more time?
So both sides are doing it, you know, Trump and Biden both saying we won't do debates with our competition. And most of the criticism was cross-sniping, like Democrats talking about how Republicans don't like democracy and vice
That's
versa.
true, but at the end of the day, that was more like Trump's own thing versus it being the RNC's thing.
Mm-hmm.
And at the debate, they did sort of like address that, hey, Trump isn't here. Why?
I wish they
And they
addressed
did give
it during the
coverage
debate.
to how Trump was. They did. And during the debate, they did talk about how Trump wasn't here.
No, I'm
and now
talking
he's
about
afraid
the
to be here.
no, I'm talking about the one a few days ago.
Oh, okay. You're talking about like at that
No one
point they
talked
should have
about
addressed.
No one talked about it. Didn't even come up.
I guess so. I mean, I feel like at this sort of. I guess yeah, they could have. They could have brought it. I'll be like, hey, you guys are both ass. You guys both didn't want to debate your people. You guys both
That's why I'm
didn't want
saying
to
it. That's why I'm saying
address
it's
your
media's,
contenders.
That's why I'm saying it's the media's fault on that, because they both had this like complete lack of self-interest and complete lack of journalistic integrity, which we all know. Let's not act surprised, but they want to act surprised when we don't act surprised. So here we are. You know,
Nah, I can see that.
here we are.
But then again, I don't think them shedding light on it would happen. And I think the core of it doesn't really come from them. It comes from the DNC and RNC. Because at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to really whack at the hornet's nest. When we saw how they treated Bernie, and that's not because these media outlets are necessarily against Bernie. It's because they're pro DNC
That's
or the
one
pro
way to
RNC.
look at it. That is a good counter to something I was gonna say, but I'm still gonna say it anyway, because I was gonna say, like, maybe this kind of takes away the power of the media somewhat, right? By relinquishing their place as debate holders. But from your perspective, they never even had that power.
Yeah, it's like you were tied to the hip
Yeah.
of either party.
Well,
Just go down the list.
Well, then this should be a good message to the parties. Then this may not be the most viable or reliable tactic, but we shall see. Probably not. Because, you know what they say, nothing ruins democracy faster than voters.
Mental case on Morning Joe on MSNBC, and he was saying, let me tell you something, and if you don't believe it, F you. He says this on 6 in the morning. This is what he's telling his audience. F you. This is the best version of Joe Biden I've ever seen. You saw that clip, right? This is the best version. And then,
let's play it. Let's play it, because it's amazing.
It is amazing.
Wasn't he a Republican at one point in time?
And they say that Trump is the liar. It's like they are right now in the middle of telling the biggest lie, and it's ever been told in politics. This is bigger than FDR can walk.
Listen.
We literally talked about how the Republicans lied about baby formula. Does it ever feel like okay, you know what's funny? You go after Republicans more, I go after Democrats more, but sometimes I think we should just get a Jimmy Dore. We should just get someone who's way the fuck out there, who really just hates one side.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Hampton real estate is not cheap. And you got to do some things maybe you don't want to do if you want to buy that sweet house and just drink your champagne by the lake. Just looking over the bay, rather. Just looking over the ocean going, I fucking made it, baby. I'm here in the Hamptons.
And
I'm about to go to dinner with Rob Reiner.
Hey, I've always said, yeah, I don't know if I'm better or worse than those people, but
Shut up.
I've never had no one ever
Jimmy
made an
Dore.
offer to buy me out. So I don't know how I would react.
I don't think it's a buyout or a sellout thing, man. That's a thing that people think. I think what happens is you get locked into a cult. And then I think also you get invited.
I don't think it's that.
I don't think
it's that. I think they're in a cult. I love it. I love the rational response that Joey has. I wouldn't go that far. I think they're just in a cult. I love it. Never change.
That 100% will shape the way you talk about stuff. If you get invited to a dinner with Bill Gates and some very important people.
Right.
If you get invited to a dinner with Bill Gates, Tim Cook, and I don't know, whoever else, get ready to suck some mad dick.
Is that not selling out though? Like if you literally got talked to
sucking dick?
I mean, you sold your mouth. It's like it just the buy-ins are different, but they're buy-ins at the end of the day, right?
You sold your soul. Can't get that back.
Like I guess what Joe Rogan's saying is that it's not necessarily that you were given directly money. I was gonna say that maybe it's just the people around you believe it, but no, Joe Rogan's saying that like Bill Gates invited you to go to some restaurant and he's offering this. I'm like, well, that's selling out. No, that's like you got invited by Biden and you're like, hey, Mr. Influencer, I invited you to the warehouse and now vote for me. To the warehouse? Sorry, to the warehouse. Pretty much.
I'm about to say, like, honestly.
Pretty much, probably to a warehouse.
I'm inviting you to the warehouse. Come to the warehouse and
everyone thinks it's the White House, but it's really just some warehouse in the back where they have like captives.
Looks at the security guard like
There's like the dead bodies of the Boeing whistleblowers, just there like laying on the floor. It's like, yeah, you've seen these people, right?
Welcome to the warehouse.
Yeah, welcome. Where all the shit happens, the wheeling and dealing. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the warehouse where all this shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
When their name comes up, you're going to defend them.
Well,
Here, we're family.
Look, I mean, if you get invited to a dinner and you start inviting them because they bought you lunch, and is their big name? I mean, I guess you just weren't a good person to begin with. But then, is that also a big accusation to be like, hey, this person thinks like this because he literally got invited by Jeff Bezos over to his house one night and they did some things together? Like, that's a weird. That's a jump and a skip over, right?
I would
like,
argue that it may not hurt your integrity, but it makes any positive criticism that you give them look really suspect. You know what I mean? If you want to give someone positive critique, you really shouldn't.
But what's more
be
likely,
taking
that they're
handouts.
getting money or they literally got a fucking dinner with Bill Gates?
Well, like,
Like,
I'll give you,
that's
I'll give you an
weird.
example. Like, people were giving MKBHD a lot of problems because he gave a very softball interview, and you know, people were giving him problems for it. It's like, you know, if you have access and you ask these questions, is it on you to be opposition media? Not necessarily, no. However, any critique you give them, because you do reviews, right? Any reviews you do in the future where you want to say positive things, because like it's an iPhone, there'll be good things about it. It'll just be suspect. It'll be hard to trust. But MKBHD also gets to get away on his charisma, right? He's very charismatic. His crew.
Well, that's
amazing,
the problem, right? The further you get in bed with them, the more you become suspect of playing ball and, you know.
No, that's true.
holding
So
your
there's
mouth
definitely is
because
a
you
line.
want people to get there.
No, there's definitely a line you gotta
Can you
walk.
be truthful and still be invited?
If you work in that industry, you'll work around those people. So,
Hey, you know, maybe Biden or maybe Joe, let's say Joe Biden, maybe Joe Rogan is making a point that, like, you know, MSNBC, they won't go hard on Republicans, or sorry, not Republicans, they won't go hard on Democrats because at the end of the day, they want to be invited for conventions. They want to get interviews with Democratic congressmen. If MSNBC came out and went super hard on the left, they wouldn't get the type of press coverage they could get, right?
yeah. However, I would argue that there are bipartisan criticisms that could have been laid out that neither party did. And the reason I want to focus on that is because, you know, as much as it is fun using the whole party-on-party rhetoric, I'm actually going to shoot for the bipartisanship that these two want. Yeah, no, the fact that both parties laid their bellies out for these two candidates who are both, by the way, very fucking old, regardless of whether or not you like Trump. Trump is in his late 70s. The man is like 300 pounds, and he eats KFC. The guy does not treat himself very well. He does not live healthy. And
he drinks Diet Coke.
He will just die of a heart attack. Instead of him having like a stroke or some type of like brain-gasm, he'll just have a heart attack. He'll just have some type of stress-induced like stroke.
It's like you see old people, but how many times do you see fat old people? Or you see fat people, you see old people. How many times do you see fat old people? Like, it's the numbers start thinning.
Yeah.
By the time you get to, you know, your 70s.
So we're picking two very old ass people who refuse to do any debate. Like it is both media side of the media's fault. They just thought that they both can benefit. They're doing kind of what we talked about earlier, right? They're just playing their interests, which is shitty because they also have a job to do as media. But you know, this is the landscape we're in, right? 70, 80-year-old men on the verge of death running for presidency, and two sides of the aisle just saying fuck it, let's go. Like this is bad.
Old and incompetent recluse, old and incompetent,
Old, and then wait, don't forget brainworms.
Yeah, brainworms. With RFK.
Third guy.
Just to give one final point on like how they're in bed. I mean, look at the Cuomos, right?
Yeah.
Governor Cuomo being interviewed by CNN's Cuomo reporter, the brother of Governor Cuomo, right? Like, oh, well, we have such great integrity here.
Governor
Cuomo
being interviewed by his brother Cuomo on the Cuomo show.
It's
talking about the Cuomo campaign.
Let brothers who are the same political party go at it with each other. It's
The
so dumb.
dynasty. They're building the. What do you mean? The Cuomo's are just building their dynasty for when they get to the presidency.
Yeah, dynasties.
President.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, dude, that's the Hillarys and the Bushes. Oh God, those are like the two worst ones because of how the Kennedys as well. I mean, people forget that the Kennedys are still around. I mean, well now they don't, but you know. So yeah, no, for sure, it's dynasties are the worst part about it, honestly, because it's just such like abrasive. It's just like, yeah, we just have this. Our kids are politicians now.
Yeah.
Petty fucking kings and shit.
Barack Obama talked about how just being in the room with the donor class changes you. Just being in the room.
Of
I
course.
bet.
And Chris Hayes wrote a book called The Twilight of the Elite about how that happens. And,
Yeah.
then he became the thing he wrote about. It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know.
You became the very thing you swore to destroy, Anakin.
Much about that.
Don't you think it's amazing how
He who controls the spice controls the universe. Yeah.
Good one.
I think, is that a reference to Dune?
Dune. Yeah.
they fired
Yeah.
they fired the Arab reporters. And
But
the
you know what?
Muslim
If I'm going to
reporters
put on my
MSNBC
Democratic shill hat,
Yeah, go on, liberal. Do it.
the
Do it.
only people, I mean,
Do
I
it.
think even Matt Gaetz talked a little bit as well, but the main people were talking about ending Citizens versus United and stopping company overflow, using their money for politicians, is Bernie Sanders, the Squad, AOC.
The people who got
refused
ejected
to
from the
leave.
Democratic Party. And who
Yeah.
are routinely being pushed out. Like
So, like, if I had to
Bowman.
put on my shill hat, I'd be like, well, at the end of the day, the people
Oman.
who are trying to stop the spice vendors, the people who are trying to stop
Sanders.
the big companies from, fueling campaigns would be the far left Dems.
So I've been watching the
Which-
Clone Wars, and
sad.
Padme is like a girl boss, trying to stop the war and bring peace.
Oh.
And at every single turn, fucking Palpatine comes and fucks it all up. And that's the Democratic Party, fucking Palpatine, all powerful, all knowing, and then Padme is like the one Democratic politician who's like, I
Yeah.
think that's bad, and then all the other Democrats come and like crush her. Like that's where the party is right now. It's like, yeah, we have 5 good people, but didn't they just like
Trying. Yeah, they're
punish
trying.
like Oman or something like
Evil's-
that? Oman for talking out about Israel, reprimanded her. Yeah, they got rid of Bowman. They pushed out Sanders twice, and they pushed out Sanders so hard they pushed progressives on progressives. They got Elizabeth Warren to cut his throat, which is fucking backstabbing, bitch. And no, like I understand where you're coming from, but the progressive party might as well be the third party.
Yeah.
Like just
And
like
then,
the libertarians.
and there are problems with them. Like, what was it? AOC said that if you wanted better people, you might need to, like, raise the wage or raise the salary for politicians. And I was just like, ooh, that's rough, AOC. I don't think you want people who are here for the money. I feel like that's counter to the point.
Fuck
But, like, I understand that if you're an aspiring person from poverty, you might want your money. But I think if you're an aspiring person from poverty, you would probably be okay with 170 grand plus benefits. So, I feel like the argument kills itself. But yeah.
No, they need more money. They need a third house and a 4th car. And
Yeah.
No, like it.
I hate-
it's-
So Rick Blue said, I hate Warren Wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, she certainly showed her teeth.
Yeah, no, she was. Yeah, no, I hate Warren for that. She has a great history. That's the fucked up part about it is
Yeah.
that she has a really great history, especially with the Consumer Protections Bureau. Is that right? She's,
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren, she did good work when it came to the 2008 financial crisis. She tried putting this in before, but it got put through after.
yeah,
which was the
she also did a bunch of
Consumer
small
Financial
stuff
Protection Bureau.
Yeah.
Small stuff.
Yeah.
She tried putting through like credit card bills to stop them fucking over Americans.
No, she's done a lot
She
of great
has.
work. So that's what makes
She's
this
done good
really hurt.
stuff.
That's what
Yeah.
makes that hurt. Yeah.
When you see good people hitting other good people over the head with the bonk stick, yeah, it hurts.
And
It
Warren,
hurts.
a Warren Sanders alliance might have actually won the presidency because if I remember right, Warren was like 3rd place.
Yeah.
So the fact that she threw in with the
It's
universe.
like you probably could have been the VP.
You would have been
You know?
VP. You probably would have been VP. We might have had a Warren presidency right now.
Yeah.
But no, Warren chose the fucking dark side where she gets to be a servant of evil.
Yeah, like that was not a good choice, man.
That was
Or
not.
woman. Sorry. Let me refrain from
Threw
using
away,
man amongst
threw
women.
away her whole political career. Look, one thing to progressives, sometimes it pays to be ambitious.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might look, sticking your neck out means you might get your throat slit, but also sometimes you got to do it. The risk, that's what risk is, man.
Yeah. Also, with the Zoom meeting, we only have 8 minutes left, but I do know it's 2:24 right now.
We can probably
And you
call
have
it at
to,
that then. Yeah.
yeah, when it turns off.
I'll call you
They were
afterwards.
telling a little bit of the truth
Okay.
about what's happening, or they were confronting people over it, and
You have to have one narrative,
and that's it. And then, but none of the they're supposed to stand up for these.
Yeah.
Why didn't Rachel Maddow say something? Why didn't Chris Hayes? None of them said anything. None of them, fake tough guy Lawrence O'Donnell. None of them said.
We're talking about. Oh, wait. I think we need to push back a little. I'm like, oh, I know Rachel
They were
Maddow. I
telling
think
a
she did
little
talk
bit
about
of the truth
Biden's
about what's
brain aneurysms and him not being
happening,
good.
or they were
but-
confronting people over it, and
You have to have one narrative,
and that's it. And then, but none of the they're supposed to stand up for these.
Yeah.
Why didn't Rachel Maddow say something? Why didn't Chris Hayes? None of them said anything. None of them. Fake tough guy Lawrence O'Donnell. None of them said
Cenk
anything.
Uygur did.
They just keep.
Cenk Uygur tried
Wait,
to be
are they
president.
talking about Biden's
Yeah,
brain?
Biden's mental
I
decline.
watched it, and on the CNN after party, maybe it was MSNBC. Like they talked. There was a few commentators, the establishment commentators, talking about, oh, hey, this was horrible. Biden should probably go. His brain's not there. So I feel like Jimmy Dore is just. I mean, he didn't watch it. I don't think he did. If you look at it, at the after party,
I mean,
where
maybe
they
he's
all the
referring to
commentators
before.
from.
You know?
Yeah, maybe some before.
Let me see.
Maybe.
I don't know much
Good.
about that.
Don't you think it's amazing how they fired the Arab reporters and the Muslim reporters at MSNBC because they were telling a little bit of the truth about what's happening, or they were confronting people over it, and
You have to have one narrative,
and that's it. And then, but none of the they're supposed to stand up for these.
Yeah.
Why didn't Rachel Maddow say something? Why didn't Chris
Okay,
Hayes-
they're talking about Israel and Palestine. Then.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's fair. Like, what was it? Mehdi Hassan. He left.
he left to make the
Yeah.
Zatao network, I think.
Yeah, because
Been following him.
they're really bad on Israel and Palestine.
No, they are, and
They
that's
are.
another area that the parties do basically act the same. Partially
Yeah.
because of a lot of the weapons research and development that goes on in that area, the industrial footprint that they have in terms of U.S.
Yeah.
supply,
I
and
think it was
the foothold. They
that was
represent.
funny. It was like there was a meme. It's like, oh, left's road, which is like the Biden road, 20 trillion to Israel. Then the right road was Project 2025, and it's saying like, oh, which bad road you want to go? And it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, both sides, if not more so, Republicans are going to give to Israel. Both sides are giving to Israel. I mean, I guess if you want to give more to Israel, give to Republicans.
Hey,
right?
but with RFK, as long as none of those brainworms are working with Israel, then we're all good.
Yeah. Well, the recluse said they need a moderate and a progressive together. That's the only way the establishment will let it happen. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it, right? Because I think Elizabeth Warren probably would have been up there for a VP choice.
Yeah, two progressives wouldn't have been good for them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Although, as it seems to go, people believe that Obama chose Joe Biden because he would have been seen as a moderate choice, right?
That's crazy.
To help get the center of America, who would have been a bit afraid of a black president.
Yeah, no, that's fucking crazy. And you know what's even funnier though? That probably would have been the vehicle to sell a woman president. So, but I don't know. The problem with Harris is that Harris has been. I don't know if it's just me, but Harris seemed like she hasn't been too active. A little bit.
Yeah, that's what I found weird. I'm like,
little bit,
like
but not
Kamala
that much.
Harris has been doing like at least seemingly she's been doing nothing. There hasn't been a lot of press coverage. Maybe she's doing a lot of stuff, but the press
Behind the
doesn't give her the
scenes.
time of day. Yeah, maybe she's really the puppeteer for Biden, right? And maybe
She's the string
she's it.
puller.
That's why she hasn't been in the news. It's because she's pulling the strings.
She's the string puller.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, recluse. I do think probably the only way if you had like a progressive as a fucking VP choice.
Basically in the ineffectual spot.
Yeah, I mean they can do some side projects along
Nah,
the way.
dude. After Teddy, no, fuck no, they ain't doing that again. That's how Teddy
Same
got
here.
there. Remember?
Yeah.
Teddy got there because they put him up. Yeah, same here. She's less progressive enough. Yeah, no, she is.
Yeah.
However, though, keep in mind that that's how Teddy got to be president. You know, they put a moderate as his president, and he fucking died. So One of the most popular presidents in American history. Turned out. Weird how every time a progressive gets into office, they are like one of the most popular.
You're talking about Theodore Roosevelt, not FDR, right?
Yeah, TDR.
TDR. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Those progressive banana war.
Sorry.
No, I know he has a good record with breaking apart.
Wow.
I know. I'd be like,
wow, thanks for putting me in the hole there. Oh wow, you're talking about those progressive Cuban stomping, huh?
Yeah. So we're probably gonna end the stream. We only have 3 minutes left, but I'll be like, no, okay. Over TDR had all the breaking apart businesses, conglomerates. Yeah, I mean those things were really good. I mean, we should probably have that today. I'm pretty sure TDR will be rolling in his fucking grave if he saw how it was today. He'd be like, what the fuck? What do you mean we're not colonizing?
Look, he's also rolling his grave that we didn't take all the poppies from Afghanistan.
Yeah, he's probably he probably been like stay in Afghanistan and maybe break apart Amazon.
Also, take the poppies.
It would have been a weird world, but
it would have been.
Take the poppies. Yeah.
Take the poppies, break Amazon. Very weird.
Yeah.
So, do you think the two most intelligent thinkers of our time make good points?
I think it's weird that Joe Rogan would just make the point that it isn't them selling out directly with money; it's them getting a dinner from Joe or from Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, and then they get swept by their charisma or by their power, their charm. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think Bill Gates is directly giving a dinner with you. I feel like they're just going to give you money through a super PAC, or they're going to give you good business.
I'll let it out. I mean, I've shown you some of the stuff when I was still a student and I was doing some reporting. We went to events where they served food and they served drinks and stuff like that. Well, yeah, and people would count that as a form of benefit, perk, quote unquote. So it's tricky balancing all that. I would argue the only reason why it isn't is because it was for everybody. It was technically a public event, but yeah, no, it's tricky, especially just the look that has. It can be a bad look, especially when you turn around and say nice things about them. So I guess it's hard. If you're the kind of person who would take free food from Tim Cook and then talk shit on his iPhone, ballsy. You ain't getting free food again, though.
We have a minute, 30 seconds left. I mean, there was a person, there's a good book. I forgot the name of the book, but they talk about Barney Frank, some of his assistants and workers talking. He's a congressman who helped make a lot of bills during 2008 financial crisis. And he was like, part of the thing we do is we take money from super PACs and stuff, but we don't necessarily do what they want to do. I think it was one of his direct people under him. It was a helper saying, oh yeah, we do the dance, but at the end of the night, we're not going with them, right? We take the money, but we take it, and then we don't do what they want to do. All right, even with Bernie Sanders, what was it? The pharmaceutical company wanted to give him a bunch of money. It is true. Sometimes they'll just throw money, because at the end of the day, you're not legally obligated to do what they say, right?
Nope.
But at the end of the day, those companies would probably prefer you in there than someone further to the left of you or further anti-corporation than you.
Well, we've been also talking about this too. Keep in mind, sometimes they just want you as opposition.
Yeah, sometimes you're the preferred opposition.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just they prefer having you as the person up there as a Dem than another Dem, which they would see as a bigger threat. Which.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's about it. Say your goodbyes. You
gotta the Wobblies would be rolling too. Yeah, that's true. Recluse.
Wobblies.
I will see you guys.
Goodbyes. Okay, you already said goodbye. We're not ready yet. Oh shit! That was in time. Perfect. I won. All right. Goodbye, y'all. Thank you for watching. That was convenient as hell.